Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel. Got a bunch of fights to showcase for you today with rank 5 Scorpion. Let's jump right in. So first off, we have this fight from Act 8.2, nearly 600k health. Going to use the Rupture pre-fight for most of these fights because it works really well with the Hulk Relic, which we'll talk about. Just want to give you a basic idea for his damage output at this rank. So of course the majority of Scorpion's damage output comes from the Sting debuffs, so my preferred rotation for him is just a lot of medium combos because you apply a Sting debuff on each medium, and then I like to spam the special one. I do see some folks prefer the special 2. I have found that you don't really need the special 2 in most fights, and I really like having the Taunt debuff up on them. It's guaranteed from the special 1, it has really good uptime. And for me, I really like controlling the flow and rhythm of a fight, and that taunt really goes a long way. So you can see we're doing quite a bit of damage per Sting burst. I think we had a 65k burst a second ago on like 16 Sting debuffs. There's a 40k burst there from 10 or 11. There is a bit of attack inflation in this content. You see we have a Fury buff on us, and I think 6 stars get a flat attack increase in here as well. But even still, like, we are absolutely plowing through this abomination. Again, about 600k health, and I think this fight lasts for less than a minute. We'll take a look at the end screen here in a second. I'm pretty sure it's less than a minute. Yeah, there we go, 59 seconds, and you can see close to 60% of his damage in this fight was from the Sting burst, so he can plow through a lane like this in no time. Alright, let's talk synergies for a moment. By the way, this is all unboosted. None of the fights in this showcase are me boosted. Let's go ahead and pause the video. So his most valuable synergy is absolutely the Agent Venom synergy. This is going to give him a passive Fury effect for each Sting debuff currently active on the defender, and this is going to have a significant impact on his total damage output, especially if you're playing aggressive, which you really need to do anyways as Scorpion. I talk a lot in my war videos about the Thunderbolt kill squad, but if you're not running Agent Venom, you really only need the 2 of them, Scorpion and Agent Venom. The Spider-Ham synergy gives him a chance on light attacks to apply a Sting debuff. This is really only necessary in fights like Realm of Legends where you know the AI is going to be passive, and I know that I want to do full 5-hit combos, so I really want extra Sting debuffs when I can. Mojo's on the team really just for increased combat power rate, and White Mags is actually doing almost nothing here because I forget to place the pre-fight. So the only thing he's giving us, I think, is increased ability accuracy, which is directly affecting the Spider-Ham synergy as well. Alright, let's go ahead and unpause the video. So again, in this particular fight, the Spider-Ham synergy is helpful because I know that I want to do full 5-hit combos a lot. Intercepting going to be very difficult because of the passive AI. So one of the things that sets Scorpion apart from other Power Sting champions is that none of his Sting debuffs are consumed when the defender uses a special attack. And this is really what makes the Agent Venom synergy so good for him, because you don't have to worry about those Sting debuffs going away, and as long as you maintain a certain level of aggression and keep enough of them applied, you're giving yourself a significant attack increase via the synergy. So each of those Fury passes is a 10% increase, and you've probably noticed we haven't really dipped below 11 or 12 since the start of the fight. So we've had permanent uptime here on more than twice of our attack rating for this fight. You can see just how much work it's putting in here. Large chunks of her health disappearing every time she uses a special attack. And there we go. We finished the fight with full health because his block proficiency is amazing. Full synergy team, no damage taken, unboosted, 48 seconds, absolute domination. Alright, let's talk about the heavy charging for a moment. This is a Venom the Duck from Act 7.3 with Selective Time Stream and Oscillate. So the heavy charge mechanic is something that I'm really kind of torn on most of the time. So if you don't know how it works, when you charge a heavy attack with Scorpion, you generate these Torment charges on yourself, and then when you either land the heavy or cancel into a special attack, those are transferred to the defender as Torment debuffs, which in turn increase the duration of future Sting debuffs here. So what we're going to do is actually abuse the Oscillate node here, and as soon as he switches into the passive armor phase, we're going to start charging our heavy attack. He is going to do nothing, and then we're going to special intercept here as soon as he dashes toward us, and that's going to place 34 Torment debuffs on him. So we're going to have a plus 34 second duration to all Sting debuffs that are applied while these Torments are active. And you're going to see, like, I don't think they have a really noticeable impact on the damage in the fight. I prefer usually not using the heavy charge because I feel like it disrupts the flow of the fight for me, which I talked about earlier here. Alright, so after the special one, we're going to have 23 stings on Venom the Duck. They max out at 30, and this leads to, I think, a 50k or so burst from this special 2. So again, if you're trying to conserve hits, or maybe you can't really, get consistent parries off to do medium combos, the heavy charge mechanic can be a somewhat effective way to get additional debuffs on the defender, but I think for me in most cases I prefer to stay aggressive, and thus I really don't usually use it. So a few minutes ago I talked about how Scorpion's Taunt is really effective at helping you control the flow and rhythm of the fight, and using Scorpion against Mojo is a really good example of that. So this Mojo is from the same path as the Venom the Duck in the previous fight, and what you're going to see happen here is Mojo throwing his specials like almost immediately when he's taunted from our special 1. And against Mojo specifically, this is really good because the less you have to bait out specials from him, the less opportunities there are for the precision buff from Dexterity to be on you, and then you don't have to wait out the anti-life field in order to counterattack here. So we're going to push him to the special 2, I think, here, and then, he's taunted, so we know he's going to throw it pretty much right away. We can safely block it, and then continue our counterattack. He sidesteps us there, so we do get the precision on us, so now we have to wait out the anti-life field, and then we can go in. He's aggressive from the Oscillate node, so we can safely intercept, fire off those specials, and then you can see he threw that special 1 almost immediately after we finished our special attack. And again, this is very predictable, especially with Mojo, so you can either get out of the way or immediately hold block, and he's almost guaranteed to throw that special right away. And I think right there he just heals himself. So again, the Taunt, extremely valuable part of Scorpion's kit. Alright, let's look at a few Battlegrounds fights. All of these fights are from the current meta, which is Brute Force and Fight or Flight. And again, the Taunt debuff puts in a lot of work here because I have found that in Brute Force, the AI acts very passive, and keeping a Taunt up on the defender as much as possible is going to go a long way in keeping that Brute Force degen off of you. So the only other thing we have to watch out in these fights, of course, is the Unstoppable, so we do need to back off when we see the timer is about to go up. And with Dr. Doom specifically, we can't be launching specials while he has that aura of Hazarath active, so we are going to be sticking to a lot of medium combos. And again, the Taunt doing a lot of work here because he's going to be throwing those special attacks right away, allowing us to do a bunch of damage without spamming as many special ones as we could in a normal fight here. So again, we're going to back off here, wait out the Unstoppable, and then parry, medium. He's going to I think kill himself with this special 2. There we go. So yeah, that fight took under a minute. 53,000 points against a rank 4 Doom is a really strong score. Alright, here's another one against an Ebony Maw. Let's talk for a second about pre-fight selection. So in the previous fight and in this one, you can see that I'm using the Poison Stings. And that's because in Battlegrounds and Alliance War, willpower is always a thing, and you really want the Poison debuff to reduce the potency of that healing. And then with the Despair Mastery, you can usually turn it off or close to it, as you can see. Now, if you read Scorpion's ability text, you might know that the potency of the Poison debuffs are lower than the Shocks and Ruptures. However, this does not affect the potency of the Sting burst damage. So the point is, in PvP content, almost always go Poison unless you need the Poison immunity or your defender is immune here. I think the Sting Burst from the Evade ends up killing him, so another pretty solid fight. 50-ish seconds, I think, is what it ends up as. 52 seconds, there we go. Alright, next up we have a Mephisto who is Poison immune, so we need to use the Rupture pre-fight. So the Rupture pre-fight works really well with the Hulk Relic, which I think is the current best relic to use on Scorpion. So one of the runes on the Hulk Relic deals an extra burst of damage whenever you deal non-hit physical damage, so you're going to see those physical burst callouts there on Mephisto. That is the relic activating. So as far as non-incinerate immune counters to Mephisto goes, Scorpion one of the best out there, because the speed at which he's going to finish this fight is going to make up for the little amount of damage that you're going to take from the aura. And if you stick to like parry, medium, that's only a 2-hit combo, and that means fewer opportunities for you to accidentally trigger his aura on contact, unless of course you continue to push him to the special 2 like I did in this fight. But again, like, this is a 36-second fight. We took a little bit of damage, and I think we're still going to score north of 50k. There we go, 54,000. That is a phenomenal score for not being Incinerate immune. Alright, last fight I want to show for you is Eternity of Pain Dormammu, and this is kind of where we're putting it all together. We're going to be using the Rupture pre-fight because he's poison immune. We don't have access to relics in this mode, however. We've got the Agent Venom synergy for the extra damage via the Fury passives, and then we're using the Toad synergy, which allows Scorpion to apply a slow debuff on his heavy attack. So since Dormammu has Footloose, all of his specials are going to trigger Evade and Unstoppable, and we need good uptime of slow in order to be able to counterattack safely. You're going to see at the end of this video, when we get to the results screen, that these Sting Bursts actually deal an almost even amount of damage to the amount of degen that we're sending back to him via the No Surrender node, I think it's called. So the way that this fight works is when you get degen on yourself, you want to send it back by knocking him down. Since we don't have to worry about his evade, don't have to worry about his unstoppable, we can safely counterattack with either our mediums or our full combos or our special attacks. As long as we have that slow up on him, we're going to be good to go. I do lose it there, and he evades the heavy there, but doesn't punish me. So we just have to bait out a heavy attack and then counter with that. So this fight goes really quickly. I think it's under 2 minutes for an Eternity of Pain fight. Yeah, just kind of showcasing everything that Scorpion can do put together. He has good heavy reach, he has amazing damage, really great utility, and he's a great two-way champ in Battlegrounds. Defensively, he requires a counter to his evade or poison immunity or both. I almost always use him on attack though and not place him on defense. Alright, this fight is about to wrap up. Couple more specials out of Dorm, couple more knockdowns from me to transfer the degen, and he will be done. If you've made it this far into the video, leave me a comment below. It's Scorpion time for our boy in green here, arguably the best science champ in the game, and I am extremely pleased with having him at rank 5. Folks, as always, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you again next time.